But in the I guess the mood of the draft pool, I thought we'd start off with a bit of fun. So why don't we have an all-time top five draft? You'll pick five players, I'll pick five players, and I've got a trivia question for you that will decide who gets the number one pick. So the trivia question is, who was the last player to be picked number one overall by your Pittsburgh Steelers?
Oh, so the last time the Steelers were that terrible would have been before they went on the Super Bowl, before they started to win the Super Bowls. So I'm going back to the early 70s. I'm saying
Mhm.
number 12, Terry Bradshaw.
Ding, 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 ding. Well done. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, if you want the number one pick, you've got it.
So how are we working this? This is a roster or just top five players? I could pick five running backs, five quarterbacks.
Well, so I'm looking at it as we've both got a blank canvas.
Yeah.
So you're going to have holes, but you got to take the five players that you think will start your team in the best way possible.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
We'll alternate, but
Okay. So you got to get to the quarterback first of all. You got to pressure the quarterback. So I'm going to pick Lawrence Taylor coming off the edge. Mean guy coming for your quarterback.
that's a great pick. You know what? That would have been my first pick, given that you had the first pick. But seeing as you've taken Lawrence Taylor, I'm going to go quarterback, and I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes. Enough said, I think.
No recency bias whatsoever. Mahomes is amazing and
Yeah.
done and would do it in any generation. So
And super coachable. That's like a big deal to me. Like maybe my previous favorite quarterback is not so coachable. So I'm glad to have Mahomes.
yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to have a mini roster with my five. So I have two defenders and three offensive players. So I have a quarterback, a running back, and a receiver, and then a pass rusher and a secondary stroke corner. Se- Secondary corner, I'll revisit. Quarterback, you've already taken, so I can come back to that later. Running back, so many different ways you could go. Emmett Smith in terms of yards, but I don't like he played longer. Barry Sanders in terms of like flash and good luck
Just
tackling.
ridiculous.
Just good luck tackling him in the open field. Um, and it might be slight recency bias, but this was my generation, and I grew up watching him, and he was amazing. Still holds the single season touchdown record. LT. So I've got two LTs on my roster already. LaDainian Tomlinson, just a baller. Like catch, block, run, the moves he made, just a special player.
Yep. Great pick. So as you said, you've got to get to the quarterback, and we are talking about players at their peak. And this player is the only player in NFL history to have multiple 20 plus sack seasons. Justin James Watt.
Yeah, yeah, cannot argue with that. Thinking about quarterback, I don't want to go for Brady. And I'd only be, I think Brady's a competitor, but is he? And then Rodgers in terms of talent, but
The intangibles.
yeah, I just don't, and I shouldn't be biased because I just don't like a lot of the other stuff with Rodgers. Um, I do receiver. I do receiver now, and I just go. I want an all-around receiver, a guy who can a guy who can beat you over the top, a guy who can run every single route, a guy who's just an absolute physical freak, and that would be Randy Moss.
Ooh, good pick. Good pick.
Thinking Julio, but I think Moss just because you could get like a versatile receiver who could catch over the middle and stuff, but Moss can catch over the middle, but Moss
Mm.
can just beat you down the field as well, jump up over a DB, and did it for a lot of years.
Yep. So we've only got five picks. It's whether you spread it or you're elite in certain areas. And my I've got to say, my thinking before was I wanted to pair LT with JJ Watt. But seeing as you've taken LT, cool, this is a tough one. All right, I think I'm going to come back to the defense. I'm going to take a receiver and I'm just going to take the GOAT. I'm just going to take the man that holds every single receiving record basically that there is to hold, and that's Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
He is the can do, all do receiver, yards after catch. He can beat you downfield with his speed. He can run every route. And just intangibly, he was obsessed with the game. Like he was, the ultimate competitor. He just wanted to be as great as he could be. And he wanted his teammates to be as great as they could be. And often that didn't go well when he became teammates with Primetime. So
Yeah.
I'm taking Jerry Rice with my third pick.
Quarterback, I'm there's so many different ways you can go, but I'm going to pick Peyton Manning. Uh,
Oof, can't go wrong.
yeah, probably is probably the best offensive coordinator of his generation, as well as the best. Yeah, I think natural talent, probably the best quarterback. Um, and I know his last Super Bowl was when he couldn't throw anymore, but and I know it's that generation, that Philip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning generation. They ran into Brady a lot of times. How many Super Bowls would they have if it weren't for Brady? But I don't think it's because so much Brady. I think it's because of the Patriots. And yeah,
Those top five defenses.
yeah, yeah. And so many of those games were in Foxborough and not in Indianapolis. And yeah, Peyton Manning, when he was on that offense with Harrison and with Wayne and with Edgerrin James, they were special. And they did it a lot of years as well with like an average to below average defense. And like you said, you could not say that. You cannot say that about the Patriots. They were always had a special defense with Belichick as one of the best DCs ever as your head coach.
Mm,
Yeah, if I'm taking a quarterback, I'm going with Peyton Manning, the sheriff.
nice one. Okay, so at number four, I think I'm gonna be elite in two areas, and one of them is the wide receiver room. I've got Jerry Rice on one side. Well, on the other side, you're gonna have to deal with just the computer game receiver in Megatron, Calvin Johnson. I mean, what is like he's named after a transformer. That should tell you everything. He has the single season record for receiving yards, but it's just, everything you could want in a receiver is Megatron. His size, his speed, we've seen him take over games. Probably my favorite receiver of all time, I've got to say. Um, just unbelievable mismatch. So yeah, Calvin Johnson paired with Jerry Rice with Mahomes throwing to them.
So in tribute to Travis Hunter in this upcoming draft, I'm going to take a two-way player as well as catch. And he's connected to this upcoming draft as
Mhm.
part of the projected second rated quarterback. And that's primetime Deion Sanders. Um, yeah,
Great show.
I was very young when he was tearing up the league as a DB. But in the early days of free agency, the 49ers went and spent big money on him. And then the Cowboys went and spent big money on him in free agency and then turned him into a receiver. And it wasn't a token like move. He did have some big games as a receiver as well. Maybe not to the level. Well, he didn't. And he was converted to a receiver during his career,
Mm.
not like Travis Hunter entering the league as a two-way player. And we can't forget this guy was a pro. He was a major league baseball player as well, like just a freak athlete. Jerry Rice in his when he's interviewed, yeah, they had that rivalry, but he didn't like being covered by primetime. And I almost forgot like his just supreme skill as a punt returner, a kick returner as well. So you had he could cover, he can catch, he can return kicks, and he played baseball in the off season as well. And he's now mentoring kids, Travis Hunter and his son, two of his sons, like the other sons heading into the draft with as another DB. Shiloh's a safety, not projected to be a high draft pick, but still like that gene pool just ridiculous. And yeah, I enjoyed watching him, and now I enjoy just listening to him as well. Like great human, and I think the NFL are lucky that he's still around and he's still coaching up these kids to help them because he knows like back in the day, like when he was coming into money, he knows all about money and he knows all about like, the ways to go coming out of college as a professional. I mean, Primetime did it all back in the day in Atlanta. That Atlanta team were flashy. they and then went and got is it 3 rings? Yeah, he got a ring with the Niners. I know he got one with the Cowboys. I think he was there for at least two with the Cowboys. Maybe
Definitely won. He definitely went back to back with two different teams.
he could have been there for all three
Mm.
with the Cowboys. No, I don't think he was there for the first because the Cowboys beat. Yeah, they beat the Steelers in '95. No, he got the one with the Cowboys.
Yeah, because I think he got the one with the Niners in '94, then
Yep.
went to the Cowboys in '95. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then the league turned. I was thinking about the Cowboys Super Bowls against the Bills, but they were pre prime time when the
Mm.
lost Bills lost four back to
Oh
back
boy.
back.
Well, that's a great pick, and I think Primetime stands still as the only player to have played in a Super Bowl and played in a World Series. So, just ridiculous, like athlete and
Yeah,
ridiculous mentality as well.
but like I said, he wasn't just a token. It wasn't just oh yeah, he played baseball as well. No, he played
No.
baseball in the major leagues.
Yeah.
He was a serious athlete.
Okay. So that leaves me with my fifth pick. I couldn't get LT. JJ Watt often, well, you had to double him, otherwise you're in trouble. So I'm going to pick someone else on that line that not only would receive double teams but triple teams, and that is Aaron Donald. So yeah, you got two problems on that line to deal with. Um, I'm kind of sad that Donald isn't playing anymore. Like it's one of those careers where it was like so elite that he's one of those like Barry Sanders, like Megatron. He reached his point where he said, "That's it. Like I've been top tier for so long. It's almost like he probably doesn't want to. He doesn't want to play until that point where he drops off. And Aaron Donald, who drops off, is still going to be better than most of the league. But yeah, Aaron Donald rounds off my top five. I'm going to have an elite receiver room, an elite D line, and I've got Pat Mahomes. So a lot of holes to fill, but I'm pretty happy.